Welcome to Live, Let Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello. Welcome back
to another exciting episode of Live,
Let
Thrive.
It's getting out of control, man. It's getting out of control.
Definitely been a while.
It's been a minute, bro. It's been a minute. What you been up to?
Man, just
real quick. This is episode 29, right?
Yeah, episode 29.
29.
Yep.
All right.
Man, I've just got back in the country. I've been down in South America.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. Been down to Cozumel, man. Seen all the Mayan temples, the Olmec heads. It was tight, man. Best trip of my life.
Awesome.
What have you been up to? The Airbnb guru.
I don't know about all that. I'm learning. It's a learning process, but we're liking it so far. So, booking them. Almost every night's booked. Pretty cool. Loving the Airbnb thing. Well, love-hate relationship. You know, there's ups and downs and lots of frustrations.
What ups are you having?
Money. The money's the ups. The time and the effort is the downs, you know, because I'm used to the easy money. Well, not so
corporate,
easy.
man.
So easy.
Corporate rentals.
Corporate.
Easy money, man.
Well, let's set this show up. This is episode 29, right?
Yep.
And we're excited that we landed a pretty, to us, it's a pretty big interview because we're fans of a certain show called Get Paid for Your Pad. And this is the, we interviewed Jasper Rivers, who does the show now. Mm-hmm. And now his partner, and I'm not sure. I'm going to ask him on the show. He's going to chime in a minute, or his former partner. His name is Huzefa Kapadia. And so he's going to chime in any second now. And he wanted to do the interview in his car, which is it's cool because we just called him and he said, "Hey, let me call you right back. I want to do it while I'm driving." Okay, that'll be our first, right? That'll be our first interview while someone's driving, and I hope it's safe. We don't make him laugh too hard, and he goes, drives off a cliff in laughter. I mean,
bad car bed. No,
there's worse ways to go, right? So he's the co-creator of Get Paid for Your Pad, which is a great show, and we've learned a ton from it. And it's an Airbnb show. You look it up on iTunes and YouTube. And he also he co-wrote the book Get Paid for Your Pad, which I mean you and I are inspiring writers too. You know, we want to
we'll be there,
lay down some knowledge. So we're gonna really pick his brain. This show is all about us right now, y'all. Just bear with it, huh?
Yeah.
So before he calls, see, at any moment he could call, unless he's BSing, and we're going to keep rambling until we never get this call, and then we say, well, maybe peace out, Matt David, we'll see you next week. But, get that joke?
No, I was looking at our notes just in case he stiffed us.
But we do have enough for a show if he doesn't call. But he'll call. He'll call any second now. And I told Myka, well, let's just go ahead and push record and start recording the show, and then you roll with it. And when he chimes in, It'll be pretty neat. And so you were on a cruise. I went to Mexico. So we were both in Mexico in like different moments.
Probably the same time. No. I think you came back for.
Oh,
there we go.
There he is. So there goes our small talk, and here's Huzefa. Hey, this is Steven.
Hey, what's up, Steven? Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you, man. Loud and clear.
Okay. All right, perfect.
So we're actually... Oh, it's fine. We're actually already recording the show.
Oh, okay.
So we thought it would be a good idea. Hey, we'll just talk, and then when Huzefa calls, we'll just he'll just start talking.
Yeah, bring you right in.
Let's do it.
All right, I kind of set it up a little bit. You co-created our favorite Airbnb show called Get Paid for Your Pad.
That's right.
And so you're driving right now, huh? You're in the car?
Yeah, I'm in the car right now. But
we hear your seatbelt light going on. Buckle up now.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, we don't want you to get into an accident or nothing because we're two funny guys, and our comedy kills, bro. Maybe not that much.
That's why we got into the podcast business.
Yeah, so we'd get the levels right. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself while we're setting up these levels good.
Sure. So I'll tell you kind of a little bit of the backstory, because it's funny that Jasper is basically, him and my other buddy Andreas are my two best friends. And the entire beginning of Get Paid for Your Pad, the book, and then the podcast was sort of, it was a pivotal moment in my life. It was right after he and a bunch of my other friends had encouraged me to leave a career that I had in patent law. So I was a patent attorney for about 4 years. And he was insisting for years that I should leave, that I should do something that I was passionate about and actually try and start my own business like he had been doing. And I remember one of the things, one time I was talking about a car that I was interested in buying. I just saw it and I thought it was really cool. And I'm like, yeah, man, I think I'm going to buy this car in like a year or two. It's really cool. And he kind of like erupted on me, and he's like, man, why are you talking about some stupid car where you're working at this job that you don't like? For what purpose? He's like, don't get the car, keep the car you have, and quit your job and start. And so I always remember that moment. Anyways, so it was right after I quit law that he said, hey, I know you're trying to start, I run an education business now, and he said, I know you're trying to start your education company, but would you be interested in writing a book with me? And I'd always wanted to write a book, and I love to write, and that was a big part of my legal career is writing. So I said, you know what, let's do it. He had the Airbnb expertise, and he brought me on basically as a writer, and that's kind of how it began.
So did you have any Airbnb experience at that time?
At that time, I had none. Since that time, I ended up, because I did so much research and I learned so much about it, then I started posting myself on Airbnb, and of course, I just learned so much about that entire process. But he was the one that had been doing it very successfully for years. But I was basically a complete newbie.
Nice. So then the book came first, and then the podcast came after that?
That's right. So we launched the book I believe it released in April or May of 2014, if I remember correctly. And then right away that summer, Jasper said, hey, as part of our promotional efforts, let's do a podcast together. And that was it. We were in Vegas, actually, at the time. And that's when we did the first 5 episodes. We recorded them in Vegas on my laptop, if I remember correctly, with the mics from the mics that come with the standard Apple headphones.
Yeah.
The built-in mic, so we recorded with that, and that's how it began. And then I can't remember at what point, or it's really now Jasper's baby. At some point, I think a year ago or something, as things started to pick up with my business, and I was so busy running that, he has essentially completely taken over the podcast. And now if you listen to it, the only thing you'll hear about me is I sing the theme song, and I say it's me kind of talking about giving the introductions. That's my voice. Other than that, you got to give all credit to Jasper at this point for keeping it going and building it to what it's become.
So you guys use that to promote your book.
Right.
And because you guys are a huge podcast at this point, what did you guys use to promote your podcast? Like, how did you get your podcast out there?
Honestly, I can tell you a few things on the promotional side that I know Jasper did. And again, it was like the book and the podcast kind of fed each other. But I was just talking to Jasper about this the other day. At the end of the day, I really do think it's time and consistency. It's been so long now that it's been out there. It was really, at the time, it was the only show on Airbnb, but that didn't mean much. The audience has just grown slowly, and then started to grow exponentially. And then now it's become really, really big. He's got a lot of downloads every month. I don't remember the exact figures, but it's somewhere like 15 or 20,000 downloads, I think, in a month. And it's still growing. And yeah, as far as we've done some Facebook promotion, we've done little things here and there, but I think it's really just organic growth.
That's just really awesome, man. What month was that peak of that? How many podcast downloads did you say you guys had?
I believe, this is from talking to him last time we were kind of chatting about the numbers. I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20,000 in a month. But I remember when it first started hitting 5,000, that was a big deal. When you first started getting 5,000 a month. And again, this is at the point where I was starting to have less involvement, but we were still talking about the show and kind of keeping up to date about it and things like that. And yeah, that was a big point. where it hit that, and then it just continues to grow. And he loves it. I mean, he loves Airbnb, lives and breathes it. He now, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but he sold his apartment. He sold his place in Amsterdam that he had been renting for years because the laws changed in the Netherlands about renting Airbnb property. So when the laws changed, he had to get rid of it. And then he's since reinvested the money in properties in Vietnam. Wait, let me think. I remember. In Colombia and Vietnam, I think. And I believe he's looking at a third property in somewhere else, somewhere in Central America or South America.
Yeah,
and then
man.
He's starting new Airbnb businesses.
He's pretty hardcore, man. He's pretty hardcore Airbnb.
He loves it. The Airbnb community loves him. I mean, it's great. Like, I'm so happy for him because it's like when he goes to the Airbnb Open, it's just awesome because everybody, I think they really appreciate what he does. They always give, there was like anytime people see him walking around, they're like, "Oh, we love your podcast. It's helped us so much. It gave me the courage to do it," or whatever it is, and I think it's great. And definitely at this point, I think we wrote a really darn good book. I'm so proud of that book. And we revised it in 2015 and beefed it up. We're probably going to do it again next summer so that it stays current with all the changes that are going on. But I definitely have to say at this point, the podcast has definitely overtaken the book for sure.
So what moment was that when you just said you just couldn't do it anymore? I mean, what episode was that, by the way?
Oh, gosh, I can't remember now. I think there's around, I don't know, there's a lot of episodes now out for the Get Paid for Your Pad. But I believe it was a year and a half ago or something like that, or a year ago, because it's like my business is called Scalar Learning, and I've been running it since 2013. So they're basically trying to run it and trying to begin it since 2013. And it was in 2015 that things finally started to connect on the tutoring side. And as the tutoring side started to really finally take off or finally pick up to a point where I was so busy, I had to pick my battles. I felt like it was one thing. I had to cut a number of things out to focus just 110% on the business and growing all the different aspects. And now I'm even busier than I was before. It's crazy. And I have a podcast of my own that focuses on education, and a big part of that is math education. So that's kind of where I had to leave it. But it's just been phenomenal.
And we'd really like to pick your brain on that too, because Myka and I, that's Myka, by the way, that was asking some questions earlier. He's my partner on the show.
Yeah.
And so, because we're really into Airbnb. I have one. I'm looking to do another one. Myka has one out of. He runs the Airbnb rooms out of his house. Plus, he has a timeshare, which he's able to put 160 some odd Airbnbs on there. And so, I guess we kind of have similar goals. We want to get out of corporate America. We want to be able to live off our Airbnb, but we're going to do it with kids. We have kids. And we'd love to. We're very interested in doing the homeschool route, so we won't be tied down to a school system. And I wonder because you're all about education. I mean, that's your career, that's your passion. And so what do you think about the current state of homeschooling?
There are so many great options for homeschooling and homeschooling effectively. It's not a one size fits all. It also depends on the personality of your kids, how they learn best. If, for example, your kids are the type of kids that really vibe with video tutorials, I can tell you right now, and I'm also a full-time teacher now too. That's something I began a year and a half ago as well, which is why I'm so extraordinarily busy now, in addition to everything. I teach 40 hours a week. But if I look at the students in my pre-algebra class, for example, I have a video pre-algebra course, and I'd say some of them love it, and they watch every single video, and they watch every single explanation video, and it just helps them so much, and they're just acing the test from that basis. Some of them, it's too much. They get bored with it. They don't want to watch the video. So I think if for your children, if that's an environment that they love, they can dig into the video curriculum side or really be self-learners, self-starters, then I think it'd be great. Some kids, I don't know, they like the standard teacher format where somebody speaks at the front of the room and whatever, that's the best way that they absorb information. All I can say is there's phenomenal resources, and it's going to keep getting better and better, but right now it's such a great time with all these different online platforms and so much content out there. And the other thing I encourage is, if you do try that, the beauty of the diversity that exists is, again, to allow your kids to find the right fit for them as far as an online tutor, an online teacher. They can basically pick and choose. It doesn't have to be we do all Khan Academy or we do all this. Like maybe you like the Khan Academy for chemistry, you like this guy for math, or mathematics or something, and so on and so forth. And I think that's the benefit of it. On top of that, there's companies, I've interviewed so many of these ed tech companies on my podcast. There's companies like Cerigo who are literally building analytic systems right now to help online teachers craft the perfect curriculums and the perfect testing methodologies to really reinforce learning. And then you have other companies like homework helping apps, like I think it's Socrates is one of them. I interviewed them, and there's just so many things where they can get additional help on the regular. So yes, in short, I think it's a phenomenal time to give it a shot, with the caveat that you need to be monitoring and be aware of how it's going to mesh with your individual children.
So what drew you to the education route? Did you see like a big flaw in the public school system?
No, it was purely when I switched, I said I want to now do something that I intrinsically love and have a natural affinity for, and can find myself just digging into it. And when I was pondering what to do, it boiled down to two things, and this is no joke. It sounds kind of weird, but the two things were either start an education tutoring company focused on math, because I've always loved tutoring math, and I still did it as an attorney on the side pro bono, or start a doggy daycare. And that's because I love dogs more than anything as well, in addition to math. And I decided to go with building an education business because it's something that I felt I could do, first of all, as a private tutor with to raise no money. I needed no physical building. I could just do it, go to homes, and so on and so forth. So that's why I went that direction. And it's funny because it ended up encapsulating the dog part. I can't tell you like how often I'm around all these awesome dogs and my clients. I don't know. It's just sort of funny how it worked out. But that's why I chose it. And all the different things that I'm doing now, I never anticipated. I just thought I was going to run a straight-up tutoring company, and that was it, and then hire tutors beneath me. And I have done that, but the big part of the business model is now the online and video course side, my YouTube channel, my math music videos, all these different pieces of content that I never imagined 4 years ago. But it's just things that, as I've immersed myself into this field, I just always see new opportunities to do different things. I see vocabulary, doing math music videos. I can do math music videos. So then I started doing them. I see these other guys making video courses. And that's when I started seeing, like, wait a minute. They're good, they're fine, but there's room for improvement I believe that I can bring. So let me try it my way with my little touches and go from there. And that's how it started developing. And now really it's eventually going to be all about the online side. But I still, of course, am trying to keep all my actual clients in there and work with them.
Nice. So, bringing it back to Airbnb a little bit, have you actually done Airbnbs before? You own some, or you started some?
Yeah, I was doing one out of my place in 2015. I was renting out one of the extra bedrooms in my apartment in Los Angeles, and I did it for about a year, and it was cool. It was definitely great to have extra income. I did find it, for me personally, I just found it to be a little bit stressful at times because I put such pressure on myself. Always, I want to make sure they had a great time. And you know what I mean? It was just one of those things that, as much as I loved it, how crazy my life has gotten with regards to my schedule and how busy everything is, it's just something that I wanted to remove for the time being. When I get a bigger place, I would definitely want to go back to doing it again. It's just right now, like, I'm 110% focused on everything related to the ongoing subscalar learning. But when I have the opportunity, I would absolutely love to do it again. I met great people doing it. It was great passive income. I mean, you could say slightly passive, slightly active, but it was great income on the side, and I think it's a beautiful thing to encourage that type of sharing economy.
What was your, because you said you had one in LA, right? What was your vacancy like? Like, were you always booked out there, or?
It was pretty easy to stay booked up continuously because of where I live. That was my old place. I was in West Hollywood in like a really, really great location. And I was able to, like, my prices were pretty competitive. So it was a fairly continuous stream. Like, I was essentially I was almost making back my full rent by just renting out 1 bedroom out of a 2-bedroom place. And it was probably filled like 65% of the time.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
one more question. You guys said you remember that point when you reached 5,000 downloads a month. Do you guys remember, like, what episode number that was? Like, when you guys know, like, hey, we're moving, we get 5,000 downloads a month. Do you remember that?
I can't remember. I know Yasser would remember it for sure. Because I remember we talked about it, but no, he would be the guy to ask him when exactly that inflection point hit.
You gotta get.
But that's the thing. I mean, the main message, like the main thing that I feel like I've learned, the simple and sweetest lesson of all of this stuff, is that when it comes to content creation, social media, podcast, YouTube, whatever it is, slow and steady wins the race. Find a schedule and stick to it, and and just commit to the fact that it's going to take years. And I mean, my YouTube channel, same thing. I just passed. It's a small mark, but it's a big milestone for me. Like, I'm thrilled about it. I just passed 1,000 subscribers like 2 months ago, and now it's growing even faster and faster. And I'm watching it. I'm flipping out because it's just super exciting. And all it is I've just been really regular with putting up content. And my content's not. I think it's good, but I don't think it's like unbelievable Logan Paul type of stuff where it's just like, groundbreaking. But it's just that sticking to that schedule and being firm with it and not giving up. I think that's the overarching message. And that's a great message because it's not that complicated of a formula.
Now was it, so you enjoyed podcasting, right? I mean, you enjoyed doing it?
I love it.
And so, and you got your own now, but like, was it hard to leave that, to just tell your buddy Jasper? Did you feel like you were letting him down, or did you?
Yeah.
How did you feel?
For sure. I mean, and he's so understanding about it. He's just like, hey, I know you're getting pretty busy. Is this something, do you still want to keep co-hosting, or what do you want to do? And I was like, you know what, I think I'm just going to let you take it over. And yeah, it's hard because I felt like it's a quality show, and it was a great idea, and I could see it building. I could see the community building around it, but it was, and who knows, maybe it wasn't the best decision, but at the end of the day, the way that I felt and the way that I still do feel today is I've had to cut out a lot of things that were sort of extraneous, but that were making little bits of money here and there, but were outside of this business. And I think what it came down to for me is the way my personality is and the way I operate. I would just want it to be everything. I wanted everything to be all about education, every part of my day. And that's how my life is now. Whether it's working on my education podcast, my education YouTube channel, my Instagram, all education posts, whether I'm teaching at school, whether I'm tutoring, I feel like no moment is wasted towards one singular goal. And that having that in my life, and that's not for everybody, but having that for me, having that focus, that end focus, it just makes me feel really good and really on target.
Oh, nice. And what was I going to ask him? Sorry, we got all these questions here.
Go for it.
You go. Yeah, we just sit back and we start listening to you. You're like, man, you spit out so much info like at once, and we're like, and then we get like entranced. I'm sorry, and then back to the book. So y'all wrote this book that you're both proud of, and
yes.
Okay, the whole process. You write a book, you're like, and now what? You find a publisher, you get it out there. How do you do that? How do you get it out there?
Sure. Here's my recommendation too, by the way. So if you are interested in writing a book, it's so easy to throw it up on Amazon yourself and just self-publish. And I'm probably, because I'm in the process of writing a math-based book, a math education-based book. I'm just going to self-publish it and put it up on Amazon myself and promote it myself. But the way it worked for us was this: there's a publisher, but this is a small publisher. It's called Lifestyle Entrepreneur Press, and it is our friend who runs it. And so when we had the idea to write this book, this is Jasper's brainchild. When he had the idea to write the book, he reached out to Jesse. His name is Jesse Krieger, and Jesse's like, "This is awesome. Let's all go in. We'll be partners. I'll help you with this side." You know, so we all kind of had our roles, and then that's how that began. But it was like, God, it was just it was the coolest thing. Like even when I think back on it now, it was so much fun, and I had no idea what I was doing. But at the same time, I'd done so much writing in my life as an attorney, it just kind of fit together. But the way our process worked was Jasper had already been working through the structure of the book and all this, and had put down a bunch of content, and then he passed it over to me, and then I got to like basically put my, you know what I mean, take that, expand on it. You know, it's a lot of my writing and my language, because it's just, you know, that, and he afforded me that creativity, because he's like, hey, listen, I'm bringing you on because he's like, I know you like to write, and I know you've been trained as a writer, so just go for it. And he gave me that stylistic creativity, and I think I spent like a good month and a half just writing, adding, modifying, changing, update, you know, whatever. And then Jesse worked on the cover. We had hired a guy to get a cover. Anyways, it all came together, and it was just a lot of fun to then sit back and be like, whoa, we created this. And then the revamp, when we revised it, we added in like 60% more content. We added a bunch more content, made it even more thorough. It's so much better than the first version. And I think the third version will be that much better too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Writing a book is super fun.
You ever thought of doing the audiobook version for it?
We have an audiobook version.
Really? Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Who read it?
Me and Jasper.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we alternate chapters.
That's awesome.
So, like, I seen you were, you said your Airbnb was hard to manage or whatever. And so I'm assuming you don't have a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a family?
I do not have a family, no. Single.
Oh, okay, because I was wondering. The wife always makes it easier.
Yeah, that would make it better for sure. And I mean, and there are different, you know, I could probably give it another go, and obviously there's so many services that you can use nowadays as well to simplify the process. I mean, we include all those services in our book. It's just like I said, it's one of those things where it's just like everything else that I've decided to remove, so I can be pretty hardcore focused on one thing, and that's why. And the other thing is, for me too, my bedroom is my studio. Like I do all my videos up there. I do all my music up there, because I crank out one math music video about a month, and that's where I need absolute quiet and silence when I'm recording my songs and whatever. So it's just easy to have it like that.
Oh, so what instruments do you play?
Well, I mean, I play guitar and piano and I sing, but when I make the tracks, I'm either licensing tracks through a website called BeatStars, which has amazing tracks, or I make the tracks myself in Logic Pro, just using an amalgam of Apple loops, and then I just sing the vocals on top. And the last track that I just released, my last music video, I'll send it to you. It's on Long Division. But that one, I actually took an existing track, which I don't like to do because, you know, it's like in a gray area of copyright. There's a copyright exception for fair use, and I believe I fall into that use. But, you know, it's just, I'd like to be able to own the track at the end of the day. But every now and then, I don't know, when you come across a song and you're just like, boom, when it hits you and you're just like, I know I can write an amazing song to this. And it's almost like the song is written before you even start writing any words. And that's what happened with this last track. And it's called By My Side by the Craves. And I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I know I could write a killer song on top of this. So I took it and I did it. And the chorus is like this. If you remember the process for Long Division, it goes, we divide, then we multiply, then we subtract, bring down, and we do it again. And then it repeats one more time. But it's like, you know what I mean? And that chorus, it was like the chorus melody was already there in my head when I heard it the first time. I was like, it was just one of those moments where it's a song that I'm super proud of.
See, if I had a teacher like you growing up teaching me Long Division, man, I would have been killing it, dude. Because for real, that's how I learn, man. I love music. I love visual. I love, stimulating my mind kind of thing. Sitting there in a classroom, just watching a teacher write on a chalkboard or dry erase board and having us write the same thing. And it's not for me.
Yeah, it's like as children, we learn to songs like A, B, C, D, and then like we get older, I guess teachers lose that creativity to keep, and that's cool that you still implement that, man. That's pretty awesome.
And that's what I'm trying to say is that it's just the bottom line is you make it fun, it's more engaging, and you remember more, and you want to be there more, and that's what I try and do. And you're right. It's like we lose. For whatever reason, it gets lost in the shuffle as kids get older. That's the video course I'm working on right now. I'm revamping my SAT course. That's for like 11th graders. It's gonna have I think 11 or 12 math music videos in my SAT course. So it'll be the first ever full on, and it's got everything else that you need. Practice, like 700 practice problems, all sorts of video tutorials, and everything else that it had before. But then I'm adding in all my math music videos targeted into these categories, so that even older kids can have it. And if they don't like it, they can skip the math music videos. But just give that variety so people can learn the way they want to learn.
The cool thing about that is my 9th grade math teacher, he actually used to bring his guitar to class and sing after like right before the bell rings. And it made his class more engaging. You're right. It does. Very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so just for our fans, listeners out there, we talk mostly about Airbnb, but we're really, it's also Share-conomy. If they read the fine print, it's Share-conomy also. And in a way, this education stuff that you're doing, it is a part of the Share-conomy. You're out there putting this really great videos and learning materials out there that really helps, man. That's awesome.
There's another aspect of the tutoring world that is very similar to Airbnb, which you guys may not be familiar with, and it is the sharing economy in a nutshell. It's a website called Wyzant, and I encourage you to check it out, especially if you're interested in homeschooling, because
how do you spell supplement
that? Wyzant, WYZAN as in Nancy, T as in Tom, and it's basically how I got my start and got all my first clients, and I still get clients this way through Wyzant. It's an online platform for tutors, so you no longer have to go to tutoring companies. Or for a tutor like me, I no longer have to go and work for Kaplan, where they bill me out at $100 an hour and they pay me $20 an hour. They bill me out at $150 and they pay me $40 an hour. Instead, I can set my own rate, and it's amazing too. It's the same thing. You get reviews, you get ratings on every appointment. You do a good job, you work hard. My rate when I started was $40 an hour on Wyzant, but you can raise it to whatever you want, and then it's just dictated by supply and demand, right? But you can make your own tutoring business on this platform, and it's incredible, and it's only growing. So it's so cool. Like that's how when I had such a hard time getting clients that first year, it was so difficult, and it was finally when I really started to spend time working on my profile on Wyzant, engaging with people, reaching out to people through that platform, figuring out that I needed to drop my price to like $40. Maybe I even started at $30. I can't remember now. But figuring that out is huge. And then now I don't have to be working for some random tutoring company and have them take a huge chunk. It's all mine. And it's amazing. You should definitely check it out.
Can anybody be a tutor? You have to get all the specifications or degrees and stuff like that?
Anybody can be a tutor. However, on Wyzant, for the subjects you want to tutor, they make you take a quick test on each subject. Nothing major, though. As long as you know the material, you can go up. I have no education degree. I don't have a master's in education. I don't have an undergraduate education. In fact, I'm not even allowed to teach at a public school. The only reason why I'm able to be a teacher right now is because it's at a private school, and it happened really. It's an amazing, most beautiful private school I've ever seen called Seven Arrows in Palisades in LA. And I was tutoring so many of their kids, and I started to get to know the founder of the school and a lot of the teachers, and that's how the opportunity arose. And it was never part of my plan to teach because it's such a massive endeavor, and et cetera. But when they offered it to me and they kind of explained everything to me, and they understood fully of what I'm trying to do and how busy I am, I was like, you know what, let me try it for a year. And it was so much fun anyways that I did it again. But yeah, I have no teaching credentials, but private schools, they can kind of do whatever they want.
That's awesome, man. That's how it should be. I mean, it should be the person who's best at something out there, sharing and teaching or whatever, not just because what a piece of paper says that you can do,
Teaching seems to be your passion. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Teaching, and specifically, strangely enough, teaching math. I've taught other things before that are like all right and that are pretty fun, but I don't know what it is about teaching math. I don't know why I love it so much. I think I can kind of explain it. Part of it is because every time I teach math, I get to go through and solve the problems myself, which I really enjoy. Like, I find it almost as if it's similar to a game. So that's part of it. Plus, for whatever reason, math is something that you can literally take somebody in an hour from being completely baffled and confused to having complete comprehension by the end of that hour. And it's such instant gratification. It's a little tougher to do that way tougher to do that in terms of reading or other skills that I think take a bit more practice and routine to develop.
And so you didn't, and that's crazy because you were a lawyer, right? Is that what it was?
That's right.
And
attorney, yep.
and so did you use math a lot as a lawyer, or not really?
No. Not really. I mean, I was a patent attorneys were technical attorneys, so I represented a lot of different technology companies, memory device manufacturers. One of the firms I worked for, we did a lot of work for Apple, and yeah, it's technical in terms of like I had an engineering degree in computer science, so I needed knowledge of circuitry and whatnot to understand what the patents were saying. Math per se, not really. It's just something that always stuck with me though, because it was my favorite subject growing up, and I just for whatever reason remembered a lot of it. Had to relearn a lot too. Don't get me wrong, but I was able to just kind of start. I remember when I first started tutoring, I was kind of following in the footsteps of one of my buddies from law school, who he started a tutoring company straight out of law school. And by the time I was ready to do it, he was pretty successful by that point. He had built up a decent company in Seattle. And I remember I was like, so what's my first step? Should I go take a bunch of math classes at a local community college or something and get my skills solid? He's like, nah, you don't need to do any of that. Like, at the end of the day, being a good tutor and launching a successful tutoring company, it's about one thing above all else, and that one thing is personality and connection. He's like, if you basically, he's like, knowing you and knowing how you like people and all this stuff, he's like, it's gonna take shape naturally, and the math, it'll come about as you work, as you get students and as you get clients to ask you questions, you'll start remembering and relearning everything. And he was totally right. It was totally true.
So your first, as a tutor, you teach one kid at a time. You teach several kids at a time.
I'm experimenting with different models. It's primarily one at a time, but I'm starting to do some groups as well. I've done groups in the past. They work fine. It just depends on different people's needs. I'm even starting Sunday workshops where I have like 5 to 10 kids at once. I'm just running around like a crazy man, back and forth, which is super fun. But it's basically like, hey, come hang out, and it's not as intense as like standard tutoring sessions. It's like, come and do your homework here. But if you have questions, I'll be around and I can walk around and answer questions. And I'm going to start bringing in my other tutors in to answer questions as well. But that's more of a community thing where I do it for free and just to give people a place to study and have somebody that's excited about math to help them with math.
So you still live in LA, right?
Yes, Santa Monica.
Okay.
Nice.
And you said you do 40 hours a week. So are you doing like online, or are you actually in front of a class teaching?
I'm in front of the class teaching, so I'm at school for 40 hours a week, and then every day I tutor between 4 to 6 hours. Like Monday through Thursday, I got 4 to 6 hours. And then I'd say Saturday and Sunday, I'm usually tutoring another 10 hours over the weekend. So between the tutoring and the teaching, it's already a lot of hours. And then every spare second, beyond that, in the morning, like I wake up really early. So I wake up around 4:30 every day.
Wow.
And then that morning time is where I get the other pieces in order. If I have to do a live stream for my YouTube channel, I have to work on my music. Like last week, I shot a music video, and I recorded it, shot it, and released it within a week. So it was just one of the craziest weeks I've ever had. Not getting a lot of sleep, spending every spare second I had working on the music, filming, editing, etc. And that's kind of how it goes. It's like I said, I'm fully in. Minimum 100 hours a week is what I work.
Wow. But and so you're submerged in your passion, and that fuels you. That keeps you going, right?
100%. And the other thing is, because I'm such an extrovert, the beautiful thing about the teaching and the tutoring side, one, I'm constantly learning and experimenting and honing my craft. The other thing about being a tutor as opposed to being a teacher is I get to see teaching styles from all like 10, 15 different schools at a time every day across the board. What is this teacher doing? What is that teacher doing? Oh, this is fascinating. Oh, I never knew this method. So I'm constantly learning. But the other part is I'm interacting with students, and that actually charges me up. So even though I'm working these crazy long hours, because I'm in front of a classroom, then I'm in front of my students on a one-on-one basis, all that gives me a lot of energy and not only energy, just happiness. There's one thing about the practice of law, which I think people don't realize, is when you work for these really big firms, and especially when you're doing litigation, like I was in patent law, you're not in front of the judge, or it's not like it's portrayed on TV for criminal attorneys or things like that. I'm in my office and I'm reading and I'm writing the vast majority of the day, doing document review. Very little time is spent with other people, and it was just a terrible fit for my personality.
Yeah.
You know?
Soul crushing.
Yes.
Oh. All right. Here's one thing I always think about, and you always hear about, because we listen to, me and Myka listen to a lot of investing podcasts or real estate podcasts, stuff like that. And one thing someone always points out about the school system is they don't teach anything about finance. And they don't teach, and of course not real estate, not investing, finance, anything like that. And so many people have screwed up finances because of that, I think. And how do you see that changing, or are you going to be a part of that changing, teaching kids about, financial or fiscal responsibility, investing, stuff like that?
There's an app. I just interviewed these guys on my podcast a month ago. I think it's called Penny Owl. I think it's Penny Owl or something like that. I'll have to look it up. But there are people that are well aware of the problems with financial literacy and are trying to develop apps to just keep kids aware of why they should save, how they can invest in property, whatever it may be, and what's the importance of it, why you should have a 401k, things like that. And I definitely would love to be part of it. My little contribution thus far is I wrote a rap song on compound interest and the formula and how it's used and the difference between that and simple interest, just for fun. But yeah, I would absolutely love to, because I mean that's a huge connection to math as well. But it's a major problem. And the funny thing is, when I talked to the CEO of, like I said, I'm blanking on the exact, is it Penny Owl or Penny Owl? I can't remember exactly, but I'll have to look it up and send it to you. When I was talking to him about the app, he said, well, what are most of your clientele? I assume is it maybe the really well-to-do, because then they might be very worried about their kids squandering cash when they inherit it. He said, actually, it runs the gamut. Those parents are concerned, and the parents with a few resources or with, like you said, messed up finances, they're also concerned, and they want to make sure their kids don't make the same mistakes.
Cool. That's awesome. So, if you mind if I ask you personally, how do you set up your personal investments? I mean, are you into real estate? Are you into stocks, bonds, maybe Bitcoin?
I do a little Bitcoin. I used to invest in the stock market, and now to be dead honest, I put everything I can back into my business. My business expenses are very high because, to me, at this point, with what I'm doing, I just believe in it 100%. I believe it will build and build and build, and I think it's going in the right direction, and that's how I look at it. I talk to my dad about this sometimes. My dad loves to invest in the stock market, and he's like as passionate about that as I am about my business, and that's what I tell him. And I think if most people would not find that to be a smart path necessarily, it's not quote unquote safe investment, but to me, at least where my frame of mind is, it's just, to me, I'm so certain it will work eventually. I just don't know when, but that's kind of why I put everything back in whenever possible.
Well, that's cool. You mentioned we said Bitcoin earlier. You do invest a little bit into Bitcoin.
A little bit in the Bitcoin, yeah.
What the hell is Bitcoin?
Cryptocurrency.
I have some Bitcoin because one of my friends was just yelling at me to get some, and my buddy Andreas, and so he had some, and it was literally not a lot of thought went into it, and I trusted him, and and I got some, and it did go up, but it's not like a major investment strategy for me by any means.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought maybe you could give us the math perspective on this crazy balloon that's swelling up that is called Bitcoin.
I cannot, sadly.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. You got any more questions? We're just processing all this. You're throwing it at us, and it's like, wow, this is so cool. I mean,
yeah, man, your engine. Go ahead.
Because you started off, I mean, we thought we were going to go this whole Airbnb route with this show, and you and Jasper, doing the Airbnb thing, and you just, but you're doing what your passion is, and that's what our show. That's what we promote. We want people, whatever their passion is. I mean, if they get into Airbnb, cool. The Share-conomy, cool, but just follow, what they want to do. And like you said, you're putting in 100 hours, but it's just hours that towards something you love and you're passionate about, and that's just awesome.
Well, I feel the same way, and that's why I do it. I have no social life, and I wouldn't want it any other way at this point, which I would have never said 2 years ago. But it's just how it's worked out, and I'm still super happy. But I have said this before too. I'm like, I love my life, and I will still say, even as crazy as my last year was, it was the best year. This last year was the best year of my life. And however, if you switched anybody else, almost anybody else on this planet into my body for the last year, it would have been like a nightmare. You know what I mean? But that's how it is.
Now I know Jasper, man. He's like every week he's in a different city or country on the planet, right? And
yeah.
Do you ever see yourself as venturous as him, or kind of, but taking that your teaching with you, go teach in China, go teach in London or Paris, or do you see yourself doing something like that in the future?
I would potentially do. I'm not like Jasper in that respect. I mean, I used to love to travel, but in the last 2 years I've barely traveled. But that's again because of how I've had to spend my time, and it's just so much easier to get stuff done when you're just in one place and you're not traveling and you've got all your resources. So at this point, I'm not interested so much in essentially being on the move consistently. It's not something that interests me anymore. But would I love to one day, as this continues to grow, as I write a book, as I can start to maybe give some lectures or help other teachers around the world create video curriculum, be more enthusiastic, do other things. I would love to go and help and teach other people how to be good at math and feel confident and comfortable. I would love to do that anywhere and everywhere. But I think that at the end of the day, my main goal is to stay in one place, whether it continues to be LA or whether it be anywhere else, who knows, maybe even Detroit where I'm from one day. But I stay in one place where I can really build a base and a foundation and really start getting some centers going and things like that. That's what I envision that would make me really excited, is just to be in one place where it's most conducive to continuing that path.
So my question is this, because me and Steve were talking about this before the show started. You said you're originally from Detroit. How the heck did you and Jasper link up and do all this? Like, how'd you guys link up? You know what I mean? Because Jasper's from all the way over there, and you're from Detroit. How did that happen?
I went to law school in Chicago, and when I was in law school my last year, Jasper moved to Chicago for his company, Optiver. And one of my buddies from undergrad was also working at Optiver, and he introduced us. And I was like, oh, this guy's cool. It was back then we were both like, I mean, Jasper still is, but not me so much anymore. We were big party animals, so we got along right away. And then we were going clubbing and stuff in Chicago together. And then we kind of became buddies. Then he came to visit me in D.C. We became better buddies. And then before I knew it, we started taking all these trips around the world to like Brazil and Thailand, and I don't know. We just started doing a lot of traveling and partying together, and that's just how the friendship grew, and that's how we got so close. And Jasper he's basically like one of the most loyal guys you'll ever meet, and just a good guy. I think, and we have a lot of similar values and perspectives, and I think that's how we just got along so well. And then when he wanted to write the book, I think he just reached out to me because well, one, I think he did value my writing, but I also think he reached out to me because he knew he could trust me, and vice versa. You know, it's just one of those things. You want to be careful when you partner with somebody, but there's no question with us.
A quick cool thing about Jasper, because you said how loyal, how yeah, he's generous too, of course. He he has this huge podcast, right? And we love it. We're big fans. That's what got us started on ours, And we were like in episode 3 or 4 or 5. I don't remember.
Yeah, just started.
But it was starting out, and I texted Myka. I was like, "Hey, dude, I got Jasper for an interview," and he's like, "What?" And so the thing is, I just let me try to reach out to him, and boom, boom, boom. And I sent him a message. He said, "Sure, I'll be on this show." That was a bad accent, but anyways, on my part. And he came on our show, and he said we went like well over an hour, and he was just like, whatever we wanted to know, we just asked him. He was an open book, and it was really cool, and because we were kind of starstruck, because like, oh shoot, this is Jasper, and we've reached out to other hosts of other shows that aren't as big as his, and they've told us things like, well, how many followers do you have? Because my time is kind of limited, and I don't want to just do a show where there's not enough reason to do it. I don't want to name anybody, but it was just like that. I'm like, so this dude Jasper has this huge show, but he still takes time to hop on other people's shows, and that's really cool. And it's really cool. I mean, you're going like a madman, 100 hours a week, and you took time to do our show, and we really appreciate that, man. That's cool.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, of course. I love any chance to. I won't pass up an opportunity. Yes, it's the same way. No matter what, just to get an interview, just to get another opportunity to talk to somebody about what we're doing, because it's the same thing for both of us. We both love what we're doing, and it's fun, and it's also, you never know. I mean, I think it's always a worthwhile thing. And I have a similar story too. There's another guy that I just interviewed. My podcast, we're reaching out to people all the time, and some people are asking different questions about analytics, but not so down. And then I had James Prime, which I don't know if you ever watched the channel Number File on YouTube, but it's the biggest math channel out there. It's got 2 million subscribers. Kind of like one of because of that, he's like one of those famous mathematicians. For my scalar learning podcast, I was even running it for a year, and doing okay, but he just immediately writes back, "Yeah, man, of course, let's do it, let's set it up." And he was just such a fun guest. It's really cool when people are looking for it like that. And this guy, Jasper, they're doing a lot of things, but they're willing to do it, and I think that's great.
That is awesome, dude. They're all paying it forward. We're all paying it forward,
Yeah.
And so we're glad that you were able to come by or stop by or hit us up. Where were you driving to, by the way, man? You said you wanted to do the interview.
So I'm in Michigan for the holidays,
oh,
and
cool.
It's sort of a ritual to the Wednesday before to meet up with one of my other best friends. So his name is Tim, and I'm actually in front of his house right now, waiting to go in. But we like to meet up and catch up. And he's been running he's got a drywall business in Michigan. I've been running my thing. We haven't really connected much in the last few months, so I'm gonna go in. We're gonna, I think, go out a little bit and catch up, and yeah, it should be great.
Hey, you're in Detroit, right?
Suburbs of Detroit. If you're familiar with West Bloomfield.
What part?
West Bloomfield.
Oh, okay. Because I'm actually going up there in, I think, January, and this guy is trying to get me to buy some real estate out there. Is it worth it? I heard Detroit's up and coming again.
It's so up and coming, dude. Detroit is awesome right now. I mean, you didn't grow up here, so I guess you may not know, but there's a lot of good stuff happening. It's just the beginning. There's so much really being invested into the city. It's a very hipstery place now, like a very cool place to be, and yeah, it's dope. I'm 25 minutes outside of the city is where I grew up, but yeah, I mean, the last time I went down, a lot of times when I come home, I'm mostly with my family, so I don't go out that much and go to downtown anymore. But when I do, it's dope.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. So because I have a buddy, he's buying houses for like $5,000, and he's telling me to get up there, so I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it's gonna change very soon. So because everything has been going up, prices in Michigan have been jumping up hardcore in the last like 8 months.
Wow. Hey, did you ever celebrate Queen's Day with Jasper?
No, but I always see his pictures. And he goes back to Amsterdam and like the parties that he's on.
Yeah, that's where they all get dressed up in orange and paint their hair orange and stuff, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, exactly.
There's some Dutch dudes at my school, back in college. That was fun. Well, cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and on your vacation even to hit us up and give an awesome interview. I mean, our minds are blown over here. It was awesome.
Cool. I'm so glad. Thank you guys. And yeah, let me know when this is out. I want to check it out.
Yeah, so let me know like a website people could find you or look up your
Sure.
stuff.
It's just go to our company website, scalarlearning.com. So that's SCALAR and then the word learning.com.
Scalarlearning.com. Mm-hmm. All right. That's thank you, Huzefa Kapadia. Cool name, by the way. Thank you so much for being on the show. And Myka, anything to add?
That's it, man. Thank you for being on. I'm definitely headed to your hometown.
Awesome, man. I hope you like it as much as I do.
All right.
Hope so.
All right. Take care, man. Thanks.
All right. Yep. Take it easy, guys.
Bye. That was Huzefa Kapadia.
Good guy, man. Smart guy. Man, diving deep into his passion. That's what's up.
And that's what I dig about our show. I mean, we didn't have any. We write show notes, right? Hey, we're gonna ask him this, and this, and this. And it's always funny, like when we do interviews, because like a third of the way down, sometimes half the way down, and we stop even looking at the questions because like we're totally off in a different direction.
Turns into a conversation.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that if some of our listeners are like, wow, education or this and that, I thought it was an Airbnb podcast, and but it's an Airbnb podcast, but it's about the share economy, and it's about we covered things in real estate, we covered things investing, it's whatever the show wants to be that day, and of course education is hey. That's what the show is, kind of. We're kind of educational show.
Big part is education.
Yeah, so it's cool that the show went in that direction. That there's people that are actually passionate still about educating. And I remember high school, and there was it seemed like the teachers that had checked out outnumbered the ones that were passionate about teaching in my high school when I went.
Still is, man. It's the public school system. Yeah, it's going to always be like that. It's just like everyone else. You have to think of it like a job. Yeah. Not everyone's passionate about it. I mean, a guy who went to school for mechanical engineering, how many mechanical engineers are still passionate about it? Some are, some aren't. So
right.
You have to look at things like that as a job, and
And that's what I guess. Go ahead.
No, the share economy of it. That's what I like what he said. There's a share economy for teachers out there. Those people that are willing to put themselves on a board, teach people. Then you're going to find those people that are passionate about it again. Not everyone wants to sit in college for X amount of years to get this teaching degree. Like, he doesn't have a degree to do it, but he's passionate about it. He posts himself, and he has a great time doing it.
And that was the most mind-blowing part of it all is that he's not he doesn't have his bachelor's or master's in education.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he's this motivated teacher that's actually getting paid well. He said at least 40 because he said he had to lower his asking rate when he first started to 40. So who knows what it was before that, but maybe it's higher now. To be teaching these kids, and I did see one of his videos. It's really cool. His kids, he's interacting with the kids. They're doing division. They made the fun video and stuff like that, and getting paid to do something he loves. Even though he didn't go sit in there and get the required teaching degree that you need to teach at public schools. He did it his way, and he's teaching, and kids are learning. And I bet his kids have a higher success rate than just putting them on a chair in a public school and, parents saying, see you later, hope you learned something in there.
Exactly. That's how it works, man.
And so that's what, and that's inspiring because we do talk about homeschooling on this show. We've spoke about it before a lot. And to us, that correlates to freedom, teaching because we still want our freedom. We don't want to be told that, hey, the kids have, these 2 months off in the summer and then Christmas and then boom, that's when y'all can do your things with your kids. Screw that. I want to go take my kid to Paris tomorrow. You know, I don't want the public school system to tell me what to do and how to raise my kids. Oh, your kid, your kid missed a week. Well, we're going to throw you in jail. You know, the truancy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the government see, here we go. I'm on tangent again. The government already tells us so many different ways to do every single thing in our life, every aspect of our life, and then they want to tell us how to raise our kids. And whatever. I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent.
No, that's how the game goes, man. It's good old America for you.
Yeah, good old America. Anything to add on? You want to throw some Airbnb at them real quick? Let's throw a little. Yeah, our fans that hung in there through the. I mean,
oh no, you had the Airbnb thing that I was asking about because you seemed like you were.
Oh, I don't give a. Is that the one you're talking about? All right, I'll tell you real quickly. I got another.
Oh, my thing was about the Turo thing you were saying.
Oh yeah, the more I think about Turo, the more I think it's I don't think it's a good business model as it stands right now.
You know, it's taken off, right?
Is it taking off? Well, there you go. Then maybe I just had one experience with Turo. Maybe I'll give it a couple more chances.
You talking about your experience in
South Padre with that POS card that I got, and then they were late picking me up and all this stuff. They weren't there when I turned it back in. Yet they were. I turned it in a day early.
Yeah.
Hey, they could have ran out another day, and still they hit up Turo to get their $3 in tolls from me. You know what I'm saying? After all that crappy experience I went through, so I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, because I've heard we were actually talking about Turo today because my buddy from New York, he says he uses it now, and I was like, dang, and he's like, yeah, man, everyone's starting to use it, and I've seen some people from back home starting to use it. I was like, yeah, it's on its way.
Okay.
I mean. The part that you had was more on the host instead of the actual platform. I think Airbnb has issues as far as its platform, especially with those new updates they put out and everyone's pissed off about on the community center. But yeah.
So yeah, that was just because I put on there I got a new G Ride, which I'll show you the car. We got a Buick Enclave.
Oh, you got a new car?
Yeah, we got a Buick Enclave. 2012. Hey, I'm not trying to break the bank here. We got a good deal on a 2012 Buick Enclave. It's beautiful.
Nice.
My wife loves it. Hey, honey.
Yeah.
So in other words, I didn't get a new car. My wife got a new car.
Yeah, my mom has. She has a Buick Enclave. It's like a 2010ish. It's close to the same.
Right. And you know why I got it?
Why?
And this is. Marketing is always whispering in our ear, right? Always.
Yeah.
And as it should be. I mean, we got to market ourselves. We should wear just LLT shirts all the time, every day.
My wife said that while we were on the cruise. She said we should have LLT and Artist Vacation shirts right now. And she got on stage and did karaoke and talked about the podcast before the song
really?
came in front of the entire cruise ship.
People are like, what?
Yeah, get a few mimosas in you and get some liquid courage.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So no, but I was saying what happened. Why I liked the Enclave out of all weird. I would ever like an Enclave, and it's like what it is, a Buick, like a SUV type, car, but it's like a little higher end, SUV.
Yeah.
So anyways, I had bought my Trailblazer. I buy cars, buy them used. You save a buttload of money, right?
Yeah.
And so I bought it used about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, something like that. And I bought it at this dealership that's a Buick dealership, whatever. They had a used car there. I bought it, and so I had it for a couple of days. Check engine light comes on. I was like, hey man, I just got this. Trailblazer from you. Oh, don't worry, bring it back. We'll fix whatever's wrong with it, and we'll give you a free loaner car. Blah blah blah. And so I did that, and one of the loaner cars they gave me was this badass brand new Buick Enclave. Just like whoa,
Yeah.
It's just, and they do that crap on purpose, so it gets it in our brain. So next time we go buy one, I want that one that I drove, that badass car that I can't afford.
Yeah.
And so that just always stuck in my head. And so when the time came recently, we were thinking about getting a car, got the baby, getting a little safer, upgrade a little bit. And so that always stuck in my head. And I just started looking them up, found one close by, got a good deal. My buddy's friend actually worked there, so we got a really good deal. So we got our enclave, and I thought about it for half a fraction of a second. Wow, this is nice. This is like, I could Turo this and make some. No. Screw Turo. I still thought about that experience, that bad taste in my mouth about Turo, and I guess to me, I was thinking, well, the only people that are going to make money on Turo are people that have those kind of cars, those low end POS cars, And that was just in my head that I was thinking that's the only way it makes sense, because I wouldn't want to Turo this out and have random people coming and ragging my car out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Light up a cigarette in it to get it all smelling like smoky, and I just thought about that. I love my car. I don't want people to ruin it, and I don't think that's it. That was my little F Turo. But the other funny, I guess the funny, 'cause I always write these stupid my show notes are pretty humorous sometimes. I wrote another 4-star review. Because I didn't allow a washer and dryer use. I just don't give a fuck. And I didn't. And I started laughing, ha ha ha. But what happened? That was a guest who, same thing. They were, they'd ask me questions and they were engaging, and I talked to him and I told him where everything was. And like you told me, I guess people never read the whole description, right?
Nope.
And that's what I wonder. And Airbnb, you put on there what places that they can, what's places in the house that they're allowed access to. And of course, I put the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the living areas. I didn't put garage. They're not allowed, and people aren't allowed in the garage. No one's asked until this one guest. And when they and he said, yeah, I'm bringing this and that. We're coming from California, and we're going to bring a couple motorcycles and this and that. We're doing this ride, blah, blah, blah. And we're bringing a camper, and we're going to be 5 of us, or 5 or 6 people, And so, and with the baby and all this stuff, And I'm cool, yeah. And they're getting a good deal. They're not going to find hotels this cheap with all the space they need to park and all that. Yeah. And so the day before, he asked me, hey, so I didn't see that the garage is part of the deal, but is it cool if we use the garage to park my motorcycles in? And so I'm like, I made it clear that they couldn't, Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, no, I use it for storage right now. So right now I'm not. Maybe in the future I might start letting people use the garage, but right now, no, I just use it for storage. Oh, okay, no problem. I said, but there's a big driveway, you can park them there. And I even told him right down the street, you can get at the hardware store, you can get some tarps and so what are they called? The blue covers, that you buy, tarp, whatever, and you can cover them up real good right there, and they only cost a few bucks. And okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, no worries. So I made it clear that the garage is off limits, and so and of course I didn't put on my listing that there's a washer and dryer either, right? I didn't want people using my washer and dryer. Not yet. Not until I get everything set up like I want to. Yeah. And so, anyways, a couple days pass after they leave. Oh, thank you so much. We enjoyed it. It's a great house. Your beautiful house, blah, blah, blah. A couple days pass. I said, hey, you mind putting me a review? And so, yeah, we'll put a review. And so they put a review. There's a great house, beautiful house. And he put on there... I guess if you go look at my reviews, you can find it. But he put on there, yeah, well, I'm kind of a big man, so the beds they were kind of too soft for me, so I ended up having to sleep on the sofa, which was cool, which was okay. And plus, he put it like this. He goes, plus, it would have been nice to be able to use the washer and dryer. But I'm sure they had a good reason why we couldn't use the washer and dryer. Like, what the?
How many days did he stay?
No, they stayed Monday through Friday. They stayed 5 days. I know you're cut off 7 days, right?
Well, I'll give him 5.
5 days?
If you do 5, I'll let you use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of a long time without a washer and dryer. Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of a long time without one. But,
yeah,
he left you, what, a 4-star?
A 4-star review, yeah. because of no washer and dryer. But which they came in to see. That's the thing. That's
They
my
knew.
whole point. They came in knowing that there's no washer and dryer to use.
Yeah, they don't read.
Which people listening, y'all want to stay at the art house? Maybe in the future I'll have that up and running. You know, whatever.
And if you're an Airbnb guest, please read the listings. Seriously, man, read the listings, man.
Read the listing. So
Please.
I got hit with another 4-star. That's 2 4-star. Most of them are 5s.
You know, this is the trippy part about it all. Airbnb will refund a guest out of your money if one of the amenities you say isn't there. Like, let's say, like one time, a swimming pool wasn't available for a guest. They refunded the guest, but they said, hey, we're going to cover it this time because, 1, you're a good host. 2, it was available, but it was shut down at the time. So they will refund them out of your money. She said, but in the future, we will refund them out of your money if the amenity isn't available, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So what's the consequence for a guest leaving a review saying, hey, there was no washer and dryer, but the washer and dryer is in the listing? There needs to be equal consequence.
Right.
That is where VRBO kills Airbnb, is on customer service.
Huh.
Destroys Airbnb on customer service. I will admit, Airbnb has the platform. Customer service, if you get on their community center, if you get on any platform, like any forum, everyone says Airbnb's customer service sucks, especially the host. It's getting bad, but hopefully they improve it.
Yeah,
But VRBO, you can call them, have them on the phone in a flash, and they kind of like to play the middleman. Sometimes they kind of play equal sides for the host and the guest.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. But
Yeah.
Airbnb,
All about the guests, huh? Airbnb.
it seems to be all in the guest favor. And I was reading a post today, and a guy said that he goes, every time it's a problem with Airbnb, I'm a host, I got to jump through hoops. And I was like, yeah, I agree with you. It's true, man. You know. And hopefully it gets better.
That's one thing. What kind of blew my mind was when Jasper said the other week. He said, "Oh, the deposit, like let's say you put a $250 deposit or $500 deposit, you're worried about people ruining the place. It's really not a deposit as you think it is, because let's say someone does break something at your place, you think, oh well, I just take it out of the deposit. No. He said something like they don't hold that 500 or that 250 or whatever out of that person's credit card. Airbnb don't do that. They just they do a quick scan, make sure that they have 250 or 500 on their card, and as soon as they're gone, after that scan, they're checked in. They could transfer all that money off that card and put it on another card, and so it's like not even a real deposit.
And that is exactly what the guy on the forum post was talking about. He goes, people ruined my house. I had a security deposit, didn't get it. Wow.
So what's the point
of
Airbnb
get better?
Of even putting a freaking deposit if you're not going to even get the deposit back?
Exactly.
So,
get better.
Sorry, we're dogging on Airbnb. Hey, we love you, Airbnb.
We love you, Airbnb, but you got to get better, man.
But but pick up your game, you know.
Yeah, pick it up. Because that's exactly what the dude was talking about. He goes, they won't even reimburse me. They won't do nothing. No.
Yeah. Scary. I got tomorrow's Thanksgiving, by the way. Happy Thanksgiving, bro.
Oh yeah, Thanksgiving to you, our listeners.
Even though it's like a month or two later after this one airs, but whatever. I hope y'all had a wonderful Thanksgiving after the Cowboys whooped the Chargers, but the Cowboys ain't doing so good right now. But whatever. I hope that doesn't affect our listings, by the way.
I was yeah, for real.
Yeah, the Cowboys suck now. We're not going to go watch the game.
They're America's team. Cowboys can suck, and people
they're
still
not
gonna
America's
watch
team. They're Jerry Jones' freaking team, and
they are, man. They have the most jersey sales year in, year out.
I know, but we have a okay. Let's not go on.
I did watch them on the ship, and it was pretty bad.
Terrible. So yeah, that's that. We could do a whole nother. We could go nonstop, but yeah. So Thanksgiving's tomorrow. I got a quick turn because we got guests, the South Korean guests, really cool kids. You know, I hope the house ain't trash. You know, but for as far as the communication, they've been really cool. You know, they haven't asked for much, and I've helped them when I could. And remember I told you a long time ago. This lady wants to rent on Thanksgiving Day because she wanted to come in town to watch the game, and she asked if she could do an early check-in at 11. Remember I asked you, and you're like, yeah, I'd do it. I said, all right, cool, I'll do it. And like shoot, like a day or two after that, that's when those Koreans booked. Boom. So they're leaving tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And she's getting in at 11. So I was like, crap, how am I going to play this? How am I going to play this, you know? So I just waited till yesterday, actually. I asked them, hey, I hope y'all enjoying your stay. By the way, Thursday happens to be Thanksgiving, and I'm trying to get my cleaner, you know, in there. I just wanted to know exactly about what time you think you're going to leave. I just throwing it out there. No rush. You know, they're entitled to 12. And they said, oh, you know, actually we're going to leave about 8 or 9 in the morning because our flight to back to Korea is at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. You know, that's great. Thanks for, you know, staying. I just threw it out there, and because I had ideas in the back of my head how I was going to handle the situation. But thank goodness they're going to leave about 8 or 9. My wife is going to get in there and knock it out. She'll have 2 hours. We have all the sheets here and everything, so just switch it all out, knock it out, clean it, and they'll get there about 11,
Gotta
11:30.
block dates, man. That's a close call.
Yeah.
Dates.
But see, if I would have blocked the day before to accommodate this one lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, blocking Wednesday so she could do Thursday. The South Koreans might not have booked for a week because they needed a week consecutive, and so for blocking that one day, it would have screwed me out of 5 days of pay. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So
it's a.
I just thought I thought I'll cross that bridge when we get there, and luckily
it worked. But
so
because I have people in my house in there today all the way until I think Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing a little sneaking condo. Sneaking and renting out my condo.
Because nice.
My 18th, which was 4 days ago, our long-term tenant checked out. Then I have someone else checking out on the 1st. But in that 2-week span, I'm like, probably sneak a guest in or two, you know. Yeah, so then we'll
finessing the HOA.
Yeah, and then we'll throw someone else in there for a whole month, and they can't say anything. Well, what are you talking about? We've had, you know.
Yeah, they were just renovating the place for us. You know
Yeah.
Tell them to walk in and out with tool belts. That's the only stipulation. Put a hard hat on, some tool belts.
Yeah, good idea.
Well, cool, man. We can go on and on forever. We had a great show. We had a great guest. Thanks again to Huzefa Kapadia, part of the dynamic duo of Get Paid for Your Pad. And yeah, man, it was awesome. I can't wait to do the next episode.
Oh, yeah, man. Get us. Reach out to us on iTunes. Remember, like us, rate us, do it all. Reach us at 469-300-9100. Also, check us out on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Live Let Thrive. Get on there and subscribe to us. We need some subscribers, man. Subscribe to us.
We're growing. Like he said, you know, slow and steady. We're growing slow and steady. But, you know, I see the snowball getting a little bigger. And, yeah, we'll
soon get paid for your pad. Just kidding. Shout out to Jasper.
Episode 29 in the books.
Peace
out.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.